3 years as an international assassin, 47 confirmed kills, never missed, never hesitated, until tonight. Seoul's neon lights blurred through the rain as Zara Williams settled into position on the rooftop. 500 meters to target, wind speed negligible, visibility perfect. Her finger rested on the trigger, steady as stone. Through her scope, Kang Ji-hoon sat at a corner table in the upscale restaurant below, laughing at something his companion said. Korean Mafia king, 32 years old, built an empire on blood and fear, and tonight, for $5 million, he would die. She exhaled slowly, squeezed the trigger. The world exploded. Glass shattered, bodies flew. A rival gang hit the restaurant from 3 sides simultaneously. Grenades, automatic weapons, chaos incarnate. Her bullet, perfectly aimed, went wild in the blast and struck a young woman sitting 2 tables away. Zara watched through her scope as the woman crumpled, watched Kang Ji-hoon dive toward her, screaming her name, watched him cradle her bleeding body against his chest, his perfect suit soaking crimson. For 3 years, Zara had felt nothing. Kills were transactions, targets were numbers, blood was just business. But something cracked open inside her chest as she watched this man, this monster, weep over the dying girl in his arms. She should leave, disappear into Seoul's shadows, collect her failure fee, and move to the next city, the next target, the next kill. Her feet moved toward the restaurant instead. Muscle memory took over, Delta Force combat medic training flooding back. She hit street level as Ji-hoon's security team engaged the attackers. Bullets screamed past her head. She didn't flinch. The girl, his sister, she realized, was dying. Femoral artery compromised, maybe 90 seconds before fatal blood loss. Zara's hands moved with practiced precision. Pressure point, makeshift tourniquet from table linens, elevation. The girl gasped, eyelids fluttering. "Stay with me," Zara commanded. "Don't you dare die on me." Movement behind her. She spun, disarmed an attacker in one fluid motion, used his own weapon to drop 2 more, returned to the sister without breaking rhythm, applied pressure, monitored pulse, stayed focused even as the firefight raged around them. When the shooting stopped, she looked up. Kang Ji-hoon stood above her, gun in hand, staring at this stranger who'd appeared from nowhere. His eyes, dark, intelligent, devastated, locked onto hers. "Who are you?" Zara's hands were covered in his sister's blood, the blood she'd spilled. Someone who was in the wrong place at the right time. His security team surrounded them, weapons raised, but Ji-hoon held up his hand. He watched her work, watched her save his sister's life with the kind of skill that came from years of training, years of war. "You're military." Was. Delta Force, if I'm reading those techniques correctly. She said nothing, just kept his sister alive until the ambulance arrived. 3 days later, he found her, made her an offer she should have refused. Head of security, triple standard salary, protect his family from whoever wanted them dead. Zara accepted, carrying 3 secrets that burned like acid in her gut. She was the one who shot his sister. Park Min-jae would kill her for failing the contract, and she was walking straight into hell. But she owed this man, she owed his sister, and maybe, just maybe, she could find redemption in the heart of Seoul's criminal underworld, even if it killed her. Welcome to Ellaville's Stories. Before we step into this world of fear, loyalty, and dangerous love, I want to thank you for being here. Your time matters, and I'm honored you're spending it with me. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Your support keeps this channel alive. Now, let's dive into the story.
1 week in, and Zara Williams was drowning in her own lies. She stood outside Misan's private hospital room, watching through the window as monitors beaked steady rhythms. The girl was 19, a university student, studying classical piano. 3 surgeries later, she'd live, but she'd never play quite the same way again. Zara's bullet had seen to that. Her phone vibrated. Park Min-jae, again. She stepped into an empty corridor before answering. "You failed." His voice dripped venom through the line. "The hit was compromised. Another gang. I don't care about excuses. I care about results. Kang Ji-hoon is still breathing." 6 months ago, Min-jae had found her in Dubai, former Delta Force medic turned contract killer, drowning in debt and disillusionment. $5 million to eliminate Korea's youngest Mafia king. Clean, simple, profitable. Nothing about this was clean anymore. "I'm closer now than any outsider has ever been," Zara said carefully. "He trusts me, made me head of security. You have 2 weeks. Complete the contract or I'll send someone to kill you both and I'll make sure his pretty little sister watches." The line went dead. Zara leaned against the wall, eyes closed. 2 weeks, 14 days to kill the man she was supposed to protect or die trying. She got to work instead. Ji-hoon's security was a joke. 17 critical vulnerabilities in his operations, predictable routes, inadequate background checks, outdated surveillance systems. She documented everything, knowing each fix made him harder to kill, knowing she didn't care. His men hated her on sight. "American bitch," they muttered in Korean, thinking she didn't understand. "Black whore playing soldier. Boss must be desperate hiring her." She ignored them until Choi, Ji-hoon's lead enforcer, physically blocked her from entering a strategy meeting. "Boss is busy. Why don't you go make coffee, sweetheart?" Zara looked at him, 6'3", 240 pounds, thought his size made him untouchable. "Move." He laughed. "Make me." 3 seconds later, he was on the ground, arm twisted behind his back, her knee on his spine, his face pressed into expensive marble tile. "I said move." Ji-hoon's voice cut through the sudden silence. "Is there a problem?" Zara released Choi and stood, expression neutral. "Just a miscommunication, sir." Ji-hoon studied the scene, Choi still on the ground, his other men suddenly very interested in their shoes. "Choi, overnight warehouse duty 2 months. If Miss Williams has to correct you again, you're unemployed." He turned to Zara. "My office, now." She followed him into the glass-walled sanctuary overlooking Seoul, expected a reprimand, got questions instead. "You found the weaknesses in our Eastern Territory defenses." "Yes." "No one else caught those, not in 5 years." He poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handed her one. "You're either brilliant or you're planning something. Maybe both." He almost smiled. "Why did you really come to Seoul, Miss Williams?" The truth hovered on her tongue. "To kill you, to collect $5 million, to finish what I started." "Running from my past," she said instead. Technically true. Ji-hoon studied her with those dark, intelligent eyes. "We're all running from something. Question is, are you running towards something better or just running?" She had no answer for that. Later, at midnight, she found him still working, reviewing financial reports, updating territory maps, managing an empire that never slept. He looked exhausted, human, nothing like the monster Park Min-jae had described, and Zara realized with slowly dawning horror that she was in serious trouble because the man she was supposed to kill was starting to look like someone worth saving instead.
24/7 protection meant seeing everything. As Zara was seeing things that didn't fit the profile of a ruthless mafia king. Every morning at 6, Ji-hoon visited Mi-sun's hospital room before anything else, brought her favorite pastries from a bakery across town, read to her from books of poetry, held her hand while she slept, his face stripped of his usual mask, showing nothing but love and fear and desperate hope. "She's all I have left," he told Zara once, not looking away from his sister. "Our parents died when she was 7. I raised her, tried to keep her away from this life." The guilt nearly crushed Zara's lungs. She watched him negotiate a territory dispute with a rival gang, expected violence, got diplomacy instead. Ji-hoon offered fair terms, profit-sharing arrangements, ways for both sides to prosper. Only when they drew weapons first did his people respond, and even then, he aimed to disarm, not kill. Dead men can't pay debts or honor agreements, he explained afterward. Violence is expensive. Peace is profitable. She discovered his secrets by accident. Financial records left open on his computer, anonymous donations to 3 orphanages totaling millions, full scholarships for every employee's child, medical care, housing assistance, a safety net most legitimate companies didn't provide. Business meeting, he told her one afternoon, heading to a modest apartment in a working-class neighborhood. The widow who answered was maybe 30, with 2 young children clinging to her legs. Her husband had died in a shootout 3 months ago, working for Ji-hun's organization. Mrs. Yoon, Ji-hun bowed respectfully. I wanted to ensure the pension arrangements are satisfactory. She burst into tears. You've been so generous. My children's education, the apartment, I don't know how to thank you. Your husband gave his life protecting my people. This is the least I can do. In the car afterward, Zara broke her usual silence. That's not standard practice. No, but it should be. Ji-hun stared out at Seoul's streets. Every person who works for me has a family, people who depend on them. I don't forget that. She remembered her own path to this life. Honorable discharge from Delta Force after watching too many friends die for oil and politics disguised as freedom. Student loans crushing her. Medical bills from her mother's cancer treatment. The first contract kill paid for her mother's funeral. The second for therapy she never attended. By the 47th, she'd stopped counting reasons and just counted money. Why did you become this? She asked quietly. Ji-hun was silent for blocks. Then, I didn't choose it. It chose me. My father ran this organization. When he was murdered, I was 19, in university, studying architecture. He pulled out his phone, showed her building designs, beautiful, soaring structures, community centers, schools. I wanted to build things, not destroy them. But hundreds of families depended on us. Enemies were circling. I couldn't walk away. So you became what they needed. I became what they feared. He looked at her. There's a difference between what we are and what we do, Miss Williams. I think you understand that. She did. Too well. Her phone buzzed. Text from Min Jae. 2 weeks or I send someone to kill you both. Stop stalling. Zara's hands tightened on the phone. Across from her, Ji-hun returned to his designs, sketching modifications, lost in the life he'd never get to live. Criminal, killer, monster. Also, brother, protector, dreamer. The cognitive dissonance was ripping her apart. Because somewhere between the hospital visits and the widow's tears and the architectural dreams, Zara had stopped seeing a target. She was seeing a man. And that was the most dangerous thing that could have happened. The Yakuza delegation arrived at noon. 6 men in expensive suits with death in their eyes. Zara had spent 3 days planning security. Sweep teams, sniper positions, escape routes, 3 backup plans for every contingency. She turned Ji-hun's penthouse into a fortress while making it look like casual hospitality. You think like a soldier, Ji-hun observed, studying her tactical layout. I was a soldier. No, he met her eyes. You still are. You just fight different wars now. The meeting started civilly enough. Territory discussions, trade agreements. Tanaka Hiroshi, the Yakuza Oyabun, smiled too much and bowed too deep. Every instinct Zara had screamed, wrong. She positioned herself by the window, watched reflections in the glass, monitored body language. Tanaka's man reached for his phone. Standard move, except his hand angle was off by 3 degrees. Gun, not phone. Zara moved. She had the first hitman disarmed and on the ground before he cleared his holster. The second one actually got his weapon up. She put 2 bullets in his chest before he could fire. The room exploded into chaos. Ji-hun's men drawing weapons, Yakuza soldiers reaching for theirs. Everyone stop! Ji-hun's voice cut through the mayhem. Zara stood over 2 bodies, gun steady, breathing controlled. 4 other weapons pointed at her head. She didn't flinch. Tanaka stared at the dead men, then at her. "Your dog has teeth, Kang." "My head of security just saved both our lives," Ji-hun corrected coldly. "Those men were going to start a war neither of us can afford. I suggest you choose your people more carefully." The Yakuza left, negotiations suspended, potential alliance destroyed. Zara found herself in Ji-hun's private bathroom an hour later, scrubbing blood from her hands. They were shaking, just slightly, just enough to notice. The door opened. Ji-hun. "First time you've killed since joining us?" "No," she kept scrubbing. "First time I've killed to protect someone I cared about." The distinction mattered. Killing as a job was mechanical. Killing to protect someone you cared about was... She stopped that thought cold. Ji-hun took her hands gently, stilling their tremor. His touch sent electricity racing up her arms. "Thank you for my life." "It's my job." "Is it? Or is it something else?" The space between them contracted. His face was inches from hers. She could see gold flecks in his dark eyes, could feel his breath, could feel herself leaning in. She pulled away. "We can't." "I know." But neither of them moved to leave. The moment shattered when his phone rang. The hospital. Mi-sun was awake. They arrived to find her sitting up, weak but alive. Her eyes found Zara immediately. "You," Mi-sun's voice was raspy from the breathing tube. "You saved me. Oppa told me. Thank you." The gratitude was a knife between Zara's ribs. "Just doing my job." "No." Mi-sun reached for her hand. "You did more than that. You gave me a second chance." Zara's phone buzzed as they left the hospital. Photos from Min Jae, surveillance images, her and Ji-hun standing too close, looking at each other too long, the intimacy obvious even in grainy telephoto shots. The message: "You're compromised. Complete the contract in 3 days, or I'll kill you both, and this time I'll make sure the sister doesn't survive." Zara stared at the photos, at the evidence of something she couldn't name but couldn't deny. She couldn't kill Ji-hun, that much was clear now, but she couldn't escape Min Jae either, which meant she had 3 days to figure out how to save the man she was falling for from the organization that owned her soul. The math was simple. Someone was going to die. She just had to make sure it was the right person.
The city never slept, and neither did they. Midnight found them in Ji-hun's office, surrounded by blueprints and financial projections, legitimate business expansions, community centers, affordable housing developments, the architecture of redemption, sketched in careful lines. "This is what I'd build if I could leave this life behind." Ji-hun traced a design for a youth center, complete with art studios and music rooms. "Give kids options besides gangs and crime. Break the cycle." "Why don't you?" "Leave?" He laughed bitterly. "You don't just walk away from this world, Zara. It follows you, hunts you, kills everyone you love to make a point." She understood that. "My father died in Iraq when I was 12, IED. I spent years trying to understand why he chose military life over us, so I joined, deployed, saw what he saw." She paused. "Turns out some people are just built to protect. It's not a choice, it's who we are." "Is that what you're doing now? Protecting?" "I'm trying to. From threats he didn't know about, from a bullet with his name on it, from her." "Teach me," Ji-hun said suddenly. "What?" "Your combat techniques. I've seen you fight. You move like water. I want to learn." The training room became their sanctuary. She showed him pressure points, disarm techniques, how to turn an opponent's strength against them. But every demonstration required touch, her hands guiding his stance, his body close to hers, the air between them charged with something dangerous. "You're natural," she said, breathless after he successfully completed a throw. "I have a good teacher." They were standing too close, his hand still on her waist from the last move, her palm against his chest. She could feel his heartbeat, fast,
matching hers. He leaned in. She didn't pull away. Their lips were a breath apart. His phone exploded with alerts. Warehouse, Eastern District, under attack. They moved as one unit, grabbing weapons, racing to the car. Arrived to find Ji-hoon's people pinned down by a rival gang. 20 hostiles, automatic weapons, bad odds. Zara didn't hesitate. She was a force of nature, precise shots, tactical movement, drawing fire so Ji-hoon's men could reposition. Ji-hoon fought beside her, following her lead, trusting her completely. They ended up back to back in the center of the warehouse, surrounded, outnumbered, unstoppable. She'd reload, he'd cover, he'd advance, she'd provide suppression fire. 3 years of her training, his years of survival combined into something lethal and beautiful. When the last hostile dropped, they stood in the silence, covered in cordite and blood and dust. "We make a good team," Ji-hoon said. "Yeah," Zara turned to face him. "We do." This time, when he kissed her, there was no phone to interrupt, just desperate hunger and months of tension finally breaking. She kissed him back like drowning, like salvation, like the worst and best mistake of her life. His hands in her hair, her fingers clutching his jacket, the world reduced to this moment, this man, this impossible feeling. They broke apart, both breathing hard. "This is dangerous," he said. "I know. We shouldn't. I know that too." And yet, she kissed him again, answer enough. In the shadows, a camera clicked. Photos uploaded instantly, sent directly to Park Min-jae, 500 miles away. Zara's phone buzzed as they drove back. She read the message, blood turning to ice. "You have 48 hours. Complete the mission or I kill you both, and this time I'll start with his sister while you watch." Attached were the photos, her and Ji-hoon kissing among the bodies, evidence of her complete and total failure. "Everything okay?" Ji-hoon asked. Zara looked at him, at this man she'd been sent to kill, this man she'd somehow, impossibly fallen for instead. "Yeah, everything's fine," but she had 48 hours to figure out how to save them both, or watch everything burn.
48 hours became 24. Became 12. Zara stood outside Ji-hoon's office at midnight, hand raised to knock, knowing this would end everything, truth or death, maybe both. She knocked. He looked up from his paperwork, smiled slightly. That smile would be dawn soon. "Can't sleep?" "There's something you need to know." Her voice was steady, training. "About the night Mi-soon was shot." His smile faded. "What about it?" "I was hired to kill you 6 months ago. Park Min-jae offered me $5 million. The words came faster now, purging poison. "I was on that rooftop. I had you in my scope. I took the shot. When the rival gang hit the restaurant, my bullet went wild. I shot your sister, Ji-hoon. It was me." Silence. Absolute. Devastating. Then his hand moved to his gun. "You've been lying to me this entire time." His voice was ice, death. "Every word, every moment, every—" He stopped, understanding crashing over him. "Last night, was that a lie too?" "No, that's why I'm telling you, because everything since that night has been real." He drew his weapon. She didn't move. "You used me, used my sister, played us both while working for my enemy." "Yes. You trusted me with my life." "I know. You trusted me with Mi-soon." "That one hurt. I know." "You fell in love with me." His voice broke on the last word. "I fell in love with you too, which is why I can't do this anymore. Min-jae gave me 48 hours. He's gonna kill us both. He's gonna start with Mi-soon. And I'd rather die than let that happen. So if you're gonna shoot me, do it. I deserve it. But let me save Mi-soon one more time first." Ji-hoon moved faster than she expected, slammed her against the wall, gun pressed to her temple, his face inches from hers, twisted with rage and betrayal and something that looked like grief. Give me one reason not to end you right now. I don't have one, not one that matters. Try. Because you know I've changed. Because you know what we have is real, even if it started as a lie. Because you need me to stop Min Jae, and I know things about his organization that could bring him down. She swallowed hard. Because I love you, and that has to count for something. His hand shook. The gun pressed harder against her skin. Seconds stretched into eternity. Then, slowly, he lowered the weapon. You betrayed me. His voice was hollow. But you also saved my sister's life, saved mine multiple times, protected my people when you could have let them die, fixed our vulnerabilities when you could have exploited them. I'm sorry doesn't cover it. I know that. No, it doesn't. He stepped back, creating distance, professional, cold. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna give me everything on Min Jae. Every safe house, every operative, every weakness. We're gonna destroy him together. And then his eyes went dead. Then you're gonna disappear. New identity, new country. I never want to see you again. And if I do, then I'll kill you myself. Because looking at you now, knowing what you did, what you were, his voice cracked, I can't decide if I want to shoot you or kiss you, and that terrifies me more than anything. Zara nodded, throat tight. Understood. Good. He turned away, couldn't look at her. You have until dawn to give me everything on Min Jae. Then we go to war. She left his office, each step feeling like walking to her execution. She'd chosen truth over lies. Now she'd lived long enough to make it matter. Dawn came too fast. Zara spread 6 months of intelligence across Ji-hoon's conference table. Safe houses, financial records, key lieutenants, operational patterns, everything she'd gathered while pretending to be Min Jae's weapon. Ji-hoon studied the documents without looking at her. This is comprehensive. I'm thorough. You were always planning to betray someone. Not a question. Yeah, I just chose the wrong target initially. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. We need to make him think you succeeded, Ji-hoon said finally. Fake your death. Make him believe I discovered your betrayal and executed you. He'll want proof. Then we'll give him proof. The video took 3 hours to stage. Zara on her knees, Ji-hoon's gun to her head, her confession about being Min Jae's operative, the shot, her body falling, blood, pig's blood from a sympathetic butcher, pooling convincingly. They sent it to Min Jae's network through encrypted channels. Waited. 6 hours later, confirmation. Min Jae believed it, celebrated it, let his guard drop just enough. Now we move, Ji-hoon said finally. Zara Williams died that night. The woman who walked out of his compound had no name, no identity, just purpose. She became a ghost. Min Jae's lieutenant started disappearing. Car accident, apparent suicide. One simply vanished from his apartment, leaving only blood. Each death was clean, professional, untraceable. Ji-hoon watched through surveillance feeds as she worked, reminded himself she was a killer, a liar, someone who'd shot his sister. But watching her dismantle Min Jae's empire with surgical precision, he also remembered why he'd fallen for her. The competence, the dedication, the way she protected people who couldn't protect themselves, even if one of those people was him. Mi-soon appeared in his office 3 days into the operation, recovered now, walking without assistance. She'd always been too perceptive for her own good. She's the one who shot me, isn't she? Ji-hoon's hand froze on his whiskey glass. What makes you think? Oppa, I'm 19, not stupid. The guilt in her eyes every time she looked at me. The way you can barely stand to be in the same room with her now. The timing of everything. Mi-soon sat across from him. She was sent to kill you. She shot me by accident, And then she saved my life anyway. He couldn't lie to his sister. Never could. Yes. And now you're working together to destroy the man who hired her. Yes. Mi-sun was quiet for a long moment. She risked everything to protect us, turned on her employer, confessed when she could have run. That's not a villain, Oppa. That's someone trying to find redemption. She almost killed you. And then she made sure you lived. She's been protecting us ever since. Doesn't that count for something? It's not that simple. Yes, it is. You love her. I can see it. And she loves you enough to give up $5 million and become a target herself. Mi-sun stood. Don't let anger blind you to what's real. Before Ji-hoon could respond, alarms shrieked through the building. Security breach, multiple points, coordinated attack. His phone lit up with a message from Min-jae. Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? I have your sister, and when your dead assassin comes to save her, I'll kill you both, properly this time. Old shipyard, midnight, come alone or she dies screaming. Ji-hoon's blood turned to ice. Zara appeared in his doorway, weapons ready. I heard. It's a trap. I know. We should call it off, find another way. He has me soon. Ji-hoon's voice was dead calm, lethal. There is no other way. Zara met his eyes, saw the same determination she felt. Then we go together. He said alone, since when do we follow his rules? Despite everything, Ji-hoon almost smiled. This will probably kill us both. Probably. She checked her weapons, but at least we'll go down fighting. They had 6 hours to prepare for a trap designed to kill them.
The old shipyard smelled like rust and death. Midnight found them walking through shadows, both armed, both knowing they probably wouldn't walk out. Containers stacked like metal tombstones, water lapping against rotted docks. Perfect place for an execution. I should do this alone, Ji-hoon said for the 3rd time. And I told you no for the 3rd time. Zara's voice was steel. I put Mi-sun in danger. I'll be the one to get her out. If we both die, then we die together. I'm done running, Ji-hoon. They entered the central clearing. Floodlights blazed to life, blinding. When their eyes adjusted, they saw her, Mi-sun, tied to a chair, bloodied but alive. And behind her, Park Min-jae, smiling like a cat with cornered prey. Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? Min-jae's voice echoed off metal. The great Zara Williams, brought down by love. It's almost poetic. Movement in the shadows, 50 armed men materializing from behind containers on catwalks, surrounding them completely. Red laser sights painted their chests. Ambitious number, Zara muttered. I don't make the same mistake twice. Min-jae stepped forward. Here's how this ends, Kang. You kill her right now, and I let your sister go. Refuse, and I kill all 3 of you, slowly. Ji-hoon's hand went to his gun. Ji-hoon, don't, Mi-sun started. Quiet. Min-jae pressed a gun to her head. Your brother has a choice to make. Silence. Terrible. Absolute. Ji-hoon drew his weapon, raised it, pointed it directly at Zara. She didn't flinch, didn't look away. Do it. Save your sister. It's okay. Zara, she means it. 1 life for 2. The math works. Do it. His finger moved to the trigger. 50 guns tracked his movement. Min-jae watched, victorious. I'm sorry, Ji-hoon whispered, for everything. Me too. He pulled the trigger. The bullet passed inches from Zara's head and slammed into Min-jae's shoulder. In the same motion, Zara dropped, rolled, came up firing at the floodlights. Darkness exploded. I'd rather die with her than live as your puppet, Ji-hoon roared. Hell erupted. Bullets screamed through the darkness. Zara and Ji-hoon moved like one organism. He'd advance, she'd cover, she'd reload, he'd suppress.
3 years of her training, his lifetime of survival, combined into something unstoppable. "Left," she called, dropping 2 shooters. "Clear," he answered, taking out 3 more. They fought back to back, surrounded, impossibly outnumbered, but every move was perfect, every shot counted. They were magnificent, deadly, synchronized. Ji-hoon broke toward Mi-sun. Zara laid down covering fire, cutting through Min-jae's men like a scythe through wheat. Her count was at 12 when she saw the shooter on the catwalk, saw the gun aimed at Ji-hoon's back, saw the finger squeeze. She moved without thinking, threw herself between Ji-hoon and the bullet. The impact spun her sideways. She went down, hard, blood blooming across her shoulder, higher than intended, worse than it should be. "Zara!" Ji-hoon's voice, raw with terror. I tried to get up, couldn't. The world tilted, blood everywhere, too much blood. Then he was there, scooping her up, carrying her behind cover, his hands pressing against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding, his face above hers, desperate. "Stay with me, please, stay with me." The same words he'd said to Mi-sun that first night. Full circle, poetic like Min-jae said. "Did we get Mi-sun?" Her voice sounded far away. "She's safe. My people got her out. But you," his voice broke, "you're bleeding too much. We need to—" "Ji-hoon," she touched his face, leaving blood on his cheek. "I'm sorry for all of it. Don't you dare apologize, and don't you dare die on me." He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips, tasting salt and copper and desperation. "I forgive you. Do you hear me? I forgive you. So you need to stay. You need to—" Her eyes fluttered closed. "Zara! Zara!" Gunfire still echoed, but all Ji-hoon could hear was silence.
The bullet had gone through Zara's shoulder, clean, painful, not fatal, but she'd lost consciousness from shock and blood loss, and Ji-hoon's world had stopped spinning. "Boss!" His men poured into the shipyard, 20, 40, 60, overwhelming Min-jae's remaining forces with sheer numbers and fury. Zara's eyes snapped open. "Mi-sun!" "Safe. My people have her." Ji-hoon kept pressure on her wound. "You're not moving. He's running." She struggled up, spotted Min-jae dragging Mi-sun toward a waiting boat. "He's taking her again." "You can't—" But she was already moving, stumbling toward a shipping container, climbing the ladder with one functional arm, training overriding pain, purpose overriding injury. She reached the top, found a rifle dropped by one of Min-jae's dead snipers, checked the scope with shaking hands. 800 meters to the dock, moving target, wind factor, and she was bleeding, weak, vision tunneling. Impossible shot. She'd made harder ones. Ji-hoon's voice crackled through her earpiece. "Zara, you can't make that shot. Not injured. Stand down. Watch me." She steadied her breathing, felt the wind, calculated trajectory, ignored the pain screaming through her shoulder. This was what she was built for. This was who she'd always been. Protector, soldier, sniper. She exhaled slowly, squeezed the trigger. 800 meters away, Min-jae's guard dropped. Perfect headshot. Min-jae stumbled, releasing Mi-sun in shock. She ran. Ji-hoon was already moving, crossed the distance before Min-jae could recover, slammed him against a container with brutal force. "You tried to kill my sister." Ji-hoon's voice was death itself. "Tried to turn someone I love into a weapon. Tried to destroy everything I've built. Time to end this." Min-jae laughed, blood on his teeth. "Go ahead, kill me. Prove you're the monster everyone says you are." Ji-hoon raised his gun. One shot. So easy. "Killing me changes nothing," Min-jae spat. "You still a gangster. Still a criminal. Still someone trying to be better." Ji-hoon lowered the weapon, pressed a button on his phone. "Which is why I spent the last 6 months working with Seoul Metropolitan Police, building a case against you. Money laundering, human trafficking, racketeering, 17 murders they can prove." Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Min-jae's face went white. "You worked with police?"
I'm not the monster you think I am. Not anymore. Ji-hoon stepped back as squad cars flooded the shipyard. Police poured out, not corrupt ones on gang payrolls, real ones, detectives, SWAT teams. They had warrants, evidence, everything. Park Min-jae, you're under arrest. Simultaneously, across Seoul, raids hit all of Min-jae's operations, coordinated, devastating, his entire empire collapsing in one night. Mi-sun ran to Ji-hoon, threw her arms around him. "Oppa, I thought—" "I know. I'm sorry. It's over now." Zara watched from her perch, vision fading, mission complete, sister safe, target eliminated, legally. Everything she'd hoped for. Her legs gave out. She woke 3 days later in a hospital. Private room, medical equipment beeping steadily. Her shoulder was bandaged, arm in a sling. She was alive. And she was alone. Right, Ji-hoon's promise. Help him destroy Min-jae, then disappear forever. New identity waiting, new country, new life. She'd earned it, this ending. The door opened. Ji-hoon walked in holding 2 cups of coffee. He looked exhausted, beautiful, alive. He sat in the chair beside her bed, took her hand, said nothing, just held on. "You're supposed to make me disappear," Zara whispered. "I know. New identity, new country, never see me again. I know that too. So why are you here?" Ji-hoon met her eyes. "Because Mi-sun was right. You risked everything to protect us, turned on your employer, took a bullet meant for me, and my voice cracked, I can't let you go. Zara, I love you, despite everything, because of everything, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering what if." Zara's throat tightened. "I shot your sister, and then you saved her, saved me, saved yourself." Ji-hoon squeezed her hand. "Maybe that's what redemption looks like, not erasing the past, just building something better on top of it." She couldn't speak, could only hold his hand and cry. Outside, Seoul kept spinning. Inside, 2 broken people found something whole. Zara Williams died in that shipyard. The woman who walked out of the hospital had a new name, new papers, new life. Clean slate, fresh start.
If you made it to the end, thanks for being here. Your support means everything to me. It's what keeps these stories alive. If this one moved you, I truly appreciate a like, comment what you felt, and subscribe for more stories that hit different. What should be our next story? Do you want more Mafia romance? Share your thoughts below. Love you, and see you in the next one.